Welcome to another to-do amending project virtual workshop. And today we are featuring Kline Swonger, who's going to show us how to do seed bombs, right?
Yes, seed bombs or seed sculptures.
Seed sculptures, yeah. So if anyone, I should say, has any questions, maybe you can type it in the chat and then go ahead and mute yourselves, and then I will, as Kline's going, I'll ask questions if they arise. All right.
Sweet.
Carry on.
Like Shabam mentioned, my name is Kline Swonger. I'm a San Diego-based artist and designer. And some of you might have heard of seed bombs before, but I'm tailoring this a little bit, and we're going to be doing seed sculptures. So you might have heard of seed bombs. Some people call them seed balls or green grenades. And they were actually inspired by a Japanese microbiologist and farmer in the around 1938 as a way to kind of regenerate soil that had been over-farmed. So this, his name was Masanobu Fukuoka, and he was really big into this idea of Mother Nature naturally selecting plants. So what he would do is he would create what they called these earth dumplings out of compost and a little bit of clay and clover seed, and then he'd launch them out into the fields, and so the clovers would grow and start bringing in more nitrogen and nutrients into the soil so that it would help further crops that were being planted. So that kind of became really popular in other places around the world, and around the 1970s, different activist groups adopted this principle of these seed balls and started doing guerrilla gardening, where they'd go out to different urban sites or different abandoned spaces in the public that were potentially hard to access or had been neglected, and they would throw these seed balls out into these other areas. This was a way to really quickly launch vegetation into neglected landscape. So the concept's super basic, and we're really just using compost and soil, some potter's clay, and then some seeds and a little bit of water. But I like to take a little bit of a twist on it, especially in this time of COVID-19, where we're all locked up in our houses, and we might have children that we're trying to occupy. I think it's fun, so instead of just making the standard seed ball, to go ahead and make something that gives you an opportunity to get your hands dirty and play with dirt and get creative. So the reason we use clay is for the durability. The clay really allows the soil and the compost to stick together, and especially if you end up throwing these, it allows the seed bomb to land and not break apart. And then the compost and the soil is great, so any of the seeds inside these capsules, once they start to germinate, they actually have nutrients to pull from. And then I definitely recommend using some sort of native flower if you're going to be distributing these into areas outside of your own personal yard. This is a really wonderful, it's called Rainbow Mix from Tempera Paint. It's a local, actually it's in Los Angeles, but it's a native plant nursery, and so just reach out to your local nursery and they can advise you. So let's get started. So to make these, again, it's super simple, and this is not, there's not a big science to these. You can fudge the different quantities, but I like to use the 3-2-1. So 3 parts clay, And again, when you're using clay, you want to use this basic potter's clay that's a non-oil-based clay. And then we're going to put 2 parts compost. And then 1 part water. And then go ahead and you just put it in a mixing bowl. And this is the fun part. You just mix it up really well. And you kind of want it to be the consistency of Play-Doh. And if you've ended up putting in a little too much water, you can always reach in and add a little more dirt. Once you have that mixed up really well, then you can go through and decide what kind of seeds you want to add. So if you're adding larger seeds, I would say you could just put maybe 2 or 3 in each ball. But if you're doing something where you're using like a flour mix where they're really small, you could just kind of sprinkle the mix into your mixing bowl. And then mix it up really well. And once everything's well mixed up, you'll just start breaking off little bits, and you want to roll these into about 1 inch in diameter size ball. So if you're going for seed bombs or seed balls, this is about the size you want. It's about a golf ball size. And then if you're actually going to be throwing these, what I recommend is just making a nice little flat spot, so if it lands on a slope, it doesn't roll down. So you could stop there. Once you have them made, you could just leave them in like a sunny spot inside your house. It takes usually about 24 hours to 48 hours to dry. But if you want to get more creative, you can just start making them into fun little shapes. So, let's see. So these are some examples. I'm going to pull this over. Can you guys see those? So these are just some examples of different ones. You could go out and find some like native plants, and if you're doing with these with kids, just go crazy. They're great if you want to give them to people, or if you want to just leave them in a garden space. And the other thing to consider when you're putting these together is you just want to find seeds that like to germinate around the same time. So the particular seeds that I'm working with usually like to get planted in October or anytime after October, because that's when it starts to get into the rainy season. But if you're looking to do something over the summer, another great option is the showy milkweed, which is great for attracting butterflies and other pollinators. If you're at home and you want to put something in your veggie garden, another option is nasturtium, which is a flower that you can pull out and eat in salads, or something like snow pea. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you are waiting to sow them in October, just go ahead and once they're dry, leave them in a brown paper bag, and then go crazy. So again, super simple.
Line.
Yeah, and that's about it. Yes.
Are there any kind of seeds that we should not put in there?
Great question. Yeah. So what's that? What was the second
question?
Oh, yeah. So I would avoid any like invasive plants, such as, what are some examples? Like like a fountain grass. Any invasive plants I would not recommend.
Mustard is one.
Mustard is a great one. I don't know why I'm blanking. But yeah, so I would say if you're distributing these in other areas beyond your own house, try to stick with native plants.
I have a question. This occurred to me when you were talking about kids, because I think that the immediate thing that kids would want to do is paint them or add color or something. Like something maybe, is there something they could do that's like non-toxic, or if you let them dry? And I don't know.
Yeah, I personally haven't done that. That's why I was suggesting if you're doing these with kids, like they could pick like flowers or twigs and use that, using twigs as like the construction parts. But I don't see why you couldn't just use like natural dyes that would take on the outside of them. Yeah, I think the big thing is just as long as you're not introducing like some toxic paint or oil-based paint, I think it's fair game.
What about tempera paint?
I think tempera paint's egg-based. I personally have not done.
Yeah.
Never painted them before, but
Well, the really cheap kids tempera paint is just chalk based with pigments.
Is it?
Yeah. There's no egg in it.
Oh, okay.
So it never sets up completely. So I think it would be really water soluble. So
nice.
I think it might be ideal because like acrylic has acrylic binders in it.
Mm-hmm.
It might keep the thing from disintegrating, whereas tempera paint won't.
Hey, and you could use the powdered tempera paint.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And just add a little water to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Except that what's in the pigment? Like if it's some,
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think there's real cadmium or anything.
Yeah.
you want to use
the stuff you use in school that all says like NHSTA or whatever.
Yeah, you can eat that stuff.
Has that label on it.
Yeah.
It's just food coloring. It's all it is.
And I don't know about milk paint, but I do know that also comes in powder. But I've never painted these before. So that's a good question.
We're ready to get started on that.
I know. Maybe that's my project today.
I was gonna suggest like natural paints and dyes. Like I saw someone boiling the pit of an avocado, like avocado seeds, and it creates this like nice red pigmentation, but I don't know how that does, if it's like, I don't know. I guess you could use that as the water to mix it in and maybe there's a pigment that comes out.
Yeah.
I sense another workshop coming on.
Yeah.
Casey, by the way, is a landscape designer, activist.
Nice.
On community gardens. So thank you, Casey.
We could do Easter egg seed.
No problem.
Yeah, so that's it. It's pretty straightforward, and yeah, I feel like you can't mess these up.
Can you talk about alternative materials if they don't have clay at home or something like that?
Yes, great question. And I'll go ahead and actually put that in the chat. So as an alternative, if you cannot, and I just picked up my potter's clay from Freeform, but if you don't have that option, you can also use clay powder, or you can use cat litter that's clay based. And
What about flour and water?
And I was just going to say, and you can also use flour and water. And
or
so
can you use paper pulp, like grind up your list paper.
Yep, and you can also do paper pulp. So paper pulp, what you would do is you would just, like if you have a blender, you can cut it up into small pieces, put it in warm or hot water is better, let it sit for about 10 minutes, turn on your blender, and then you could get some sort of like cheesecloth and kind of get as much water as you can out of it. And then that's really great if you have some sort of like a silicone mold or any type of mold. You can press them into it and then just add seeds. And then, as Richard was mentioning, you can also use flour. So the flour is super simple as well. You just take your dirt or compost and then you mix in, it's usually about 10 parts compost and 1 part flour, but you're really just looking for it to act as a soil binder. So once it starts getting sticky, when you're starting to add in the water, then that's a good consistency. What I found with the flour, however, is after you make them, if you're not storing them in a bright area, occasionally they can mold. So just be aware of that. So if you're storing them, you want to make sure they're totally dry before you put them into a dark area. Yeah.
I have a question, Kline. Is there like a size that you would say don't make them any bigger than my fist, or, like too much clay ratio to seeds?
In terms of the size, everything I've seen recommends about 1 inch, so about the size of a golf ball. And in terms of the proportions, I would say try not to go any more. You still want to have some soil in there. So we're using a 3 parts clay, 2 parts soil. You could go more soil, like a 1-to-1 ratio, but I would probably keep it like around that ballpark of ratio.
Might not hold together if you get to change the ratio.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You can't really go wrong, because as you're mixing these together, if you've kind of pushed your proportions too much, you'll notice that the balls won't hold together, and so you could just adjust accordingly. Yeah. So yeah, that's.
Oh, I just thought of another question. How long, like, let's say you made them last summer
That's my question.
and
Yay.
you forgot about them, and then you just found them just now in your studio. I'm not naming any names, but yeah, anyway, you know where I'm going with this.
Yes. I think they're still fine to use. I don't know about any particular expiration. A lot of seeds in nature will just lay dormant in an environment until the right condition is present. So depending on what type of seeds you had in there, do you remember if it was like the wildflower mix?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
Probably fine.
If you're putting them into a random area, you want to just wait until we start getting into the wet season. So make sure they go out into a sunny area, and then like around October is great. If you're planting them around your house, you could probably get away with doing them now. Just make sure you water them.
Yeah.
Cool. Great question.
I have some of those, Siobhan. I didn't plant all mine.
You too.
Just like go give them to your friends. Leave them in their yards.
The neighbors knew what they were, and they took a few. So
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they knew what they were. Yeah. Mhm.
And I think these are especially great now because we can't get close to people. So you could just like launch and go, So
That is perfect. COVID bombs.
COVID bombs.
COVID-19 seed bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, thank you, Kline. That was fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah.